We're back. Halftime of the year is over. I hope everybody had a great 4th of July. I wanted to talk about one of the big announcements that was made prior to the 4th of July, and that was the NMFTA announcing that they're going to move to a uniform or standardized density scale. What does that mean for the industry, for you as a shipper? What do you need to watch out for? We're going to kind of loosely cover some of this stuff. Now, if you read the announcement, some of the stuff they said in there that will impact the shippers, right, is that, one, shippers that have heavier or denser freight are probably going to be the benefactors of even lower freight class. Freight types or items of similar characteristics will probably now also fall under a singular or the same freight class based on density. And they also announced that with these changes, there's going to be some freight classification and subgroup changes, right? The sub changes, the class changes. So those are some things shippers should be aware of with these changes. But things that shippers should prepare for is to know your DIMs and weigh your freight accurately. Ensure that information is on the bill of lading prior to tendering it to the carrier so that you are giving them complete information so that they can plan for the execution of that shipment. And what I believe will happen is that the invoice issue that we see in the industry a lot of the times, where not always does the invoice match the rate quote, right? With more accurate information up front and a unified density scale, my thought is that you'll have less invoice errors on the back end because you're getting better and complete information on the front end. Remember, it's not always an invoice issue as much as it is a quoting issue with accurate information to render an accurate invoice. Let's look at an example of how this might impact two different shippers. So let's say you have one shipper, shipper A, they ship plastic pellets. Today, plastic pellets are class 55. Their stowability is pretty easy for the carriers to handle. Liability is pretty low if they break it or damage it. It's not high cost. It's lower cost per pound today the way it's set up. The plastic pellets have higher pounds per cubic feet, probably somewhere around 15 pounds per cubic feet. Now let's go look at shipper B. Shipper B is shipping rubber tubes, right? Rubber tubes, class 70, maybe pounds per cubic feet around 10 or 12, so a little lower, thus the class 70. Stowability still good, liability still light, but under the standardized density scale, these two freight types and their characteristics are similar, but not the same. However, if they migrate to that standardized density scale, right, they might find that based on the density of the freight or the size and weight of it, they could both end up being class 55, right? So it's a net benefit to that customer that was shipping at 70, maybe paying a slightly higher rate, now gets the opportunity to take advantage of a class that relates directly to the density of the freight. So this is all good stuff for the industry, for the carrier, the shipper, the 3PL, for tech platforms like my carrier. This is great. The NMFT did release a formal announcement. We will put a link down below you can click on. You can register, sign up, get informed, and know how this is going to impact you, your freight type, and your company.